Well, in most areas, house prices are at an all-time high, and interest rates are at an all-time low. So, why would you not want house prices to go down? Well, if house prices go down, usually that means interest rates go up. Interest rates go up because the Federal Reserve, which is kind of an arm of the government, doesn't want inflation to keep going higher. So they try to slow down the rate of price increases through interest rates on loans, such as a mortgage. They go up, so the price of the asset of the house goes down, and it kind of evens out. But if house prices go down and interest rates go up, that means the house is still at a level of the same affordability. Affordability means the net cost to you. So if house prices are high but interest rates are low and you get a loan, the monthly payment may be the same as if house prices were low and interest rates were high. Because a house payment, if you're going to get a loan, is based on the price of the house and the percentage of the interest rate. So if you bought a house for $100,000 but the interest rates were 5%, that's almost equivalent to if a house was $150,000 but the interest rates were 2%. So you'd have to do the math to get the exact numbers, but I want to make the point that when it comes to affordability of a house, it's not just based on the price of the house, it's based on the interest rate. Now, there's exceptions. If you're going to buy cash for a house, then if house prices go down, even if interest rates go up, you may be a winner in the game of life, right? But paying cash for a house, while in many instances it may be wise, it also may be unwise. Because when you pay cash, okay, you give up the liquidity, the extra money you would have to ride out an emergency in the economy. Now, if you have a ton of cash and buying a house cash will not affect your other pile of cash, then there's no big deal. But for most people, the average person, they're never going to have $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 to pay cash for a house and still have that much money in a cash account also. They don't have $600,000 in cash, most people. So most people are going to take a loan. Okay. And also when interest rates are low, 2%, 3%, which they currently are, the financial gurus, they take out loans to keep their cash in investments so that investments grow, okay? And the interest rates are so low, it makes sense to take out a loan because you have an asset that's going up in value. So you're making money on the house and you're making money with your cash in other investments, stock market, whatever. Now that's risk, and Dave Ramsey and others preach don't take out loans if you can help it, because what you're basically doing, even if the interest rate is low, is adding risk to your life. And then the bigger financial gurus say, well, take risks, put assets in LLCs, etc., because if you fail, you can bankrupt them, you can maneuver some things, but there's probably some wisdom in the middle. But I do agree overall with the level of Dave Ramsey for the average person, try to mitigate and not have debt, really, if you can, because for the average person, that's the best, okay? For the different above average people, they have different ways to do it. And finally, what I want to tell you is that in one sense, you don't want house prices to go down. Why? Because if house prices go down, for the average person, that means we're in a recession or a depression. And if we're in a recession or depression, that means the stock market has went down. That means there's less jobs, unemployment has gone up. So regardless of the interest rates now, if house prices go down, if the stock market is down, if there's less jobs, for the average person, that doesn't mean you're going to do well. That means you're going to do worse. So you see, the system is set up almost that you can't win. It's not set up so that you're necessarily going to lose, but it's set up that you're going to be trapped to be the average person living paycheck to paycheck. The only way you get out of the average is if you work as much as you can, okay, and you manage your money as best as you can. You live below your means, okay, whether a good or bad economy, okay, and you're putting a lot of consciousness to your decision-making process. You try to learn from your past. You got to get a little bit lucky, but the more you work at improving yourself and work, the luckier you get, okay? And you don't just sleepwalk through life. That's your best shot. And we're blessed to live in America. We're blessed to live in any first world country, whether in the UK, whatever, Saudi Arabia, wherever you are. If you are not in like a third world destitute country, you're blessed. So I still believe in thanking God for that blessing. But I also believe that if you're not conscious, aware, and diligent in your handlings of how you spend, how you work, and what your foresight is, and how you really don't want to wish that house prices just go down to this crazy level, because in one sense, you're basically wishing that the economy crashes. And if you think the economy is going to crash, you're going to succeed, and it's going to be great for you and worse for everyone else, and that's going to mean a good life for you. It's not. So you're in this dynamic where you don't want to necessarily root against house prices. You certainly don't want them to inflate to the point of unsustainability, but you kind of want balance. And I know that's a struggle for some people, because most people, including me, it's a struggle to get balance. It's a struggle to eat a balanced diet. It's a struggle to balance your spending versus saving versus investing. It's a struggle because extremes get stuff done. Extremes are more attractive, and sometimes you got to be extreme. Sometimes I'm very extreme. But I want to share with you these insights, because sometimes the unaware, uninformed mind thinks that I'm going to wait for house prices to go down and then it's going to be better for me, but not necessarily. Because if house prices go down and interest rates go up, same affordability. And if you pay cash for a house, that means you have less liquid assets and you are more subject to a downturn in the economy. And if everything goes down in the economy, stock market, house market, everything, and we're in a deep recession, for the average person, it ain't going to matter if you can afford a house, because you ain't going to have a job. Okay? And, you ain't going to be able to go to Starbucks and just chill, because you're going to have more panhandlers, you're going to have more foreclosures, you're going to have more destitute. And so you're trying to strike a balance in society where you have affordability, but at the same time you have an economy that is not destitute, economy that is not in bad shape. So you want to keep the system flowing, because there's no wisdom in wishing for the downfall of the system. Because as imperfect as every first world country system is, it's better than a third world country. It's better than a barter and trade system, which we've lived for most of human society. And 100 years ago in most of human society, life was worse. Okay, everyone was a farmer. Healthcare was worse. There was no technology. There was no easy movement of life. Everyone struggled on the farm, and you had more children just to tend the farm, and there was no enjoyment of life. There was just hard labor. Okay, and you watch Little House on the Prairie, you'll get a glimpse of it, and you say, "Oh, I want to go back to simpler times." They're imagining things better than what they were. Those were hard times. It's hard times, okay, to live on the land. Okay. So a lot of people now say, I want to live off grid, I want to live on the land. And then they do that, but they still, in the back of their mind, they got the convenience to go to Walmart whenever they want. They got the convenience to go to Home Depot whenever they want. So even though they're living off the land, they also are blessed to live in a modern corporate society that helps them mitigate some of the hard work they may have to do. If they need a new tractor, and they're living off grid, where do they go? They don't make it themselves. They go to Tractor Supply Store, which is a publicly traded corporation. You need corporations. You need the Federal Reserve. You need the system to function in such a way that it strikes such a balance that you don't have house prices so high that they're unattainable, but you don't have house prices so low that the economy has crashed. And that is the message in this video, and that I want to share with you in your journey, so that you don't wait for the perfect conditions, but that you do the best you can in the circumstance you have. And you can find affordability. You can find things that are within your means if you put a little effort into your life and you work and you're diligent and you're conscious of how you spend your money. I think for most people living in a first world country, you'll do okay. And and that's the message. I hope this video helped you in some way. If it did, click the thumbs up button, click the blue join button if you'd like to join the channel and support it. Get access to all the live feeds, which I do every day, God willing. Check out my playlist. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next one. Peace.